Hello and welcome. I am Francis, the initiator of Nigeria Voters Alliance (NVA) and the author of the Handbook of Nigeria Voters Alliance titled Imported Nigeria: New Centennial Pilgrimage to Zero Tolerance for Corruption. In this video, I am going to be introducing the Handbook for Nigeria Voters Alliance, and to do that, I'm going to be reading some portions of this handbook, why I advise you to go get your copy by looking down the description of this video to find the link to the blog so you can get more hints about Nigeria Voters Alliance, and then you find the link to register and get your copy of the Handbook of Nigeria Voters Alliance. So, to tell you what Nigeria Voters Alliance is, I'm going to be reading first from the third page here. And the third page here is titled NVA Gold Coin. You can see that, NVA Gold Coin. Now, this page is a quote from me, and this is page 3 of 346 pages of the handbook. You can access this handbook, of course, on print if you request for it, or otherwise we'll make it accessible as an ebook when you become a member. Now, here is the quote. It says, "Naira won't rise again unless all Nigerian voters arise in one voice to form the Nigeria Voters Alliance, NVA, a strong force to unseat political oppression, economic exploitation, and institutional corruption in Nigeria, with an objective to restore social justice, equity, and accountability in Nigeria without discrimination, and with an ultimate goal to bring back gold coins into circulation and economic use in Nigeria with the introduction of the NVA coin, a gold-backed coin for Nigeria, hallmark of power." This is a quote from me, Francis Isugo. And so I welcome you to Nigeria Voters Alliance. I expect you to learn more about Nigeria Voters Alliance. See the link below this video. Click to access the blog. Then, haven't got your first introduction to Nigeria Voters Alliance, I expect you to register as a member. We hope to see ourselves working together to build the kind of leadership Nigeria deserves that will take us to our destination of greatness. Welcome to Nigeria Voters Alliance. Okay, I'm Francis, and this time again, I will be talking more about the NVA, that is Nigeria Voters Alliance. This time I'm going to be telling you, if you join Nigeria Voters Alliance, what your benefits will be. I will be looking at financial benefits. You know, Nigerians, we don't want to do things that do not have financial incentives. And so I consider this to be one of the important parts of making membership in Nigeria Voters Alliance motivating for anyone to join. And I believe too that if we have financial motivations, anyone will be willing to go any length to give their support, just the way the political thugs do. Even with very little incentives, they are ready to cause disruptions. So, for you as a member of Nigeria Voters Alliance, first of all, you get nothing if you are not a committed and active member. And in order to be active, you are required to do a lot of things, starting with financial responsibility, which will include mainly getting your handbook, a copy of the Nigeria Voters Alliance handbook. And you study the handbook, you become acquainted with what ways we can collaborate to fight and stamp out corruption in Nigeria. And then, since we emphasized zero tolerance for importation, where importation is an offshoot of corruption, you will be thinking ways for yourself how to support an economy that will thrive with domestic products. Now, we are doing this to support the government's initiative too, to block channels of losing our national treasury to foreign governments through importation. So a ban on importation is going to strengthen the economy when the locals in the different sectors begin to integrate strategies and use whatever resources is available from the government to build their capacity for generating internal revenue. Now, when you have your access to the handbook, and that is by firstly taking the survey required of you on the site and submitting the survey to make your membership registration. Then you are redirected to where you get the handbook and you see more about the NVA and other benefits attached. Now, there is a second part to your staying active, which is your monthly dues of 100 naira. You understand that we will have to be financially independent as an alliance, as a body, because we have a lot of projects we are going to finance as stakeholders for good governance. We are going to finance a voting system that integrates artificial intelligence, and this intelligence is required for profiling of candidates for election. That is screening process before even qualifying any candidate to receive votes. Now, we are trying to change the screening pattern used over the years to make it one that is transparent, such that everyone knows the terms or criteria met by the candidates that are said to be qualified, not just one who can afford the form to take a chance to be voted for as a governor or a senator or a member of the National or State Assembly or a president, as the case may be. We want a situation where the voters will have presented what they need and expect of the kind of leader that will move Nigeria forward. And all of these needs and requests or demands will be brought together in a checklist. And then those who are vying for positions will have to make their presentations and submit their proposals, which will be reviewed and analyzed in line with the checklists for screening of candidates. Now, the people who score the highest points in relation to the requirements on the checklist will come first on the list. And so all of them are equally qualified, of course, to be voted for. But we want a system that is objective in screening people based on their values, based on their objectives for coming into governance. So when we have this system in place, an AI integrated voting system that screens candidates before election, the voters will be able to have access to the result sheets, and then voting will be, we are voting for merits or based on merits. And so you don't need any campaigner to tell you who to vote for. You don't need party affiliation in order to vote. No. You only see the results as presented, of course, on the screening sheet. And then the one who scores the highest should be voted for in that position. Now, there is another dimension to this, holding the leaders voted for accountable. And we are going to be doing this by allowing these candidates to endorse the agreement to the power of the voters to demand of them certain actions to meet their promises or proposals that were screened. Now, this will look like signing an agreement, a sort of oath, that if I fail in any area that I have proposed, which or for which I was qualified for receiving votes from voters, the voters have rights to demand that I meet those areas at a given deadline or quit, yes, resign from office. Now, if I fail to agree to these terms, having appended my signature to this oath, I shall be subject to impeachment, of which the voters will be responsible for using the same system that voted me in to vote me out. And so if more voters say, yes, I should be out of office, I solemnly promise to comply within the given number of days to vacate the office so that a more competent person can replace me. Now, this is an important step to be taken. And we know that if we rely on the government to make this happen, they know it's going to affect them, it's going to affect their political career, and they will want to make this happen. So we do not want to wait for them. We do not want to depend on them, on the CBN or any politically backed funding source, including the local banks. We want to do it by ourselves as voters. We want to present this technology to the government as our contribution, token of contribution. We have seen over the years that the government is unwilling to follow due process. Let's look at INEC, for example, heavily funded and almost financially stable, yet cannot make the voter card reader effective or available for voting. They give one excuse or the other, whereas they have the fund to fix this if there are non-performing machines there. So we do not want to rely on such a system that is unreliable in the first place. That is why we need you, the voter, having declared interest in joining this Voters Alliance, to stay committed to our financial independence by taking responsibility for keeping us financially equipped. And that is why we require you to make your pay your monthly dues of 100 naira, which is, of course, the minimum amount you can use to recharge your phone. During your use of smartphones, you do recharge your phones for airtime to call and message friends. Your subscription for data sometimes goes into 1,000 naira. Now, in the whole of a month, we are expecting just 100 naira from you as your monthly dues. And then, if you comply to this, helping us build this technology and make it available before the next elections, of which we too are going to impose on the government, because as our alliance is growing, we are having the numbers, and we can, as a pressure group, force the government to take a decision in our favor as the people they are ruling or leading. Yeah. So if you comply with this part, you play by paying your dues. After your 12th payment of monthly dues, you will qualify for receiving credit facility, which is one of the benefits of being a member of Nigeria Voters Alliance. Now, your credit facility will be available in a term loan, a time loan scheme, where you will request for loan and we give you your first principal will be 50,000 naira. Now, the duration of this loan will be 3 months and the interest rates will be 1% per month. So in 3 months, you are only paying back the principal and 3% interest. Now, if you pay back any principal and the interest for the duration, your loan or your ability to access credit will be increased to an addition of 25,000 naira. Now, every next request for loan will be increased by 25,000 naira. So you see, you keep on with the monthly due payment, you equip the scheme for lending you as much money as you may need to also give yourself a good financial backing. So for whatever project you may have, as an individual, as a Nigerian, we want you to have access to funding. And that is why we are making this also as a give back to you, the voter, for supporting this move for good governance. Now, this is what I am inviting you to be a part of. You will be on the losing end, of course, if you do not support us and we cannot implement all of these ideas. Now, you want to know more about the Nigeria Voters Alliance and what it will be doing independently, not one that politicians will have power over, but one that will influence even the decisions of lawmakers at the National Assembly, at the State Assembly, and then at the Senate. You then have to show this support by becoming a member. Now, I have the link to the blog where you can read more about the Nigeria Voters Alliance and take the action of registering as a member, and after which you can access the handbook. So transparently, your membership fee is only 2,000 naira, which gives you access to the handbook. The handbook is a standard 110,000 word document. So 110,000 word count document is a large volume. And so we make this available to you in ebook format. So once you pay your membership fee during registration and submission of your initial survey, you are going to be redirected to the page where you can access and download the handbook to your smartphone. Now, if you want us to print out hard copies of the Nigeria Voters Alliance handbook, then you are going to have to request for it differently or separately. And we are going to make that available to you. And we know we want you to get this in, as soon as possible, so that you begin to acquaint yourself with all that is involved in this fight for good governance or credible leadership in Nigeria. So I have said a few of what needs to be said now. The rest is contained in the handbook and also on the blog. You can find the link to the blog at the description below this video on YouTube. And then also, I'm going to be making series of video presentations on the content of the handbook, which will be found on pages of the blog. So you can use the link on the blog to follow up the next video series concerning the Nigeria Voters Alliance handbook. And then you can also be on YouTube. For saving data, you can always download the video. If you don't have the YouTube Go app, you are advised to also download the YouTube Go app, so you can simply download the videos and watch them offline to save data for yourself. Now, we have Nigeria before us. It's our common project. If we unite to make it what it will be, we all will benefit from it. I gave an example to some persons I chatted with in a tricycle, telling them that if 100 naira would seem a big deal to you, wait and see when the Voters Alliance becomes such a strong force and we demand of the government what they owe us. Let's use, for an instance, steady power supply. We know we have the capacity to generate power, and we are not seeing that yet from the government. Now, we are going to use this, your 100 naira monthly dues payment, to give ourselves the force we need to demand of the government what is our rights as citizens and as voters. This is why we vote for government. This is why we choose our leaders, and now we are going to demand of our leaders what is our right as citizens. So if you have seen this as a step worth taking, I encourage you to take this step with me and also tell others around you about the importance of supporting this alliance. Together, we are stronger. Divided, we cannot achieve much. So, join the Nigeria Voters Alliance today. This is the dream of Chinua Achebe. We know his achievements. We know he is credible. And we expect to see people who will take him as a mentor for their political pursuit or career, and also young people who will choose him as a mentor for their academic strides. We want all Nigerians to look forward to a future where we all act responsibly, knowing that Nigeria is ours, and if we don't make it as we want it to be, no one will make it for us. You will get more insights on how to play your role as a good citizen of Nigeria when you grab a copy of the NVA handbook. So click the link below this video on YouTube at the details section or the description section to access the blog. You read more about the Nigeria Voters Alliance, also about Chinua Achebe's quotes and contributions to this struggle, and then you register for membership. You pay the membership fee, submit your survey response, and then access the handbook, download it to your device. Or if you need it in hard copy, you can reach us specially for that. You give us your location and we'll get a copy printed and sent to your location. Once again, thank you for being part of this struggle. It is a non-violent pressure group. We are going to do our best to keep to our aims, objectives, and mission. Study more about us and give us a thumbs up or like on YouTube. Share this video so as many Nigerians can get aware or rather become aware of this. And then also continue to follow us here on YouTube by watching the next series that will be uploaded. Of course, I'll keep this on a daily basis. So I hope to see you on the next series. Thank you. I remain Francis Isugu, author of the Handbook of Nigeria Voters Alliance titled Imported Nigeria. Welcome.